special moments and memories. However, all of us in this room have used email to share some of those memories or create new ones. Take a moment to think about the important people in your life. What did your very first email to them say?
What pictures have you sent them over the years?
What important moments have you shared with them?
Wouldn't it be great if you could capture all of these moments and memories in one place so that you could see them,
Reflect on them?
And then share it with the people closest to you.
Introducing Delorean Mail, an innovative take on email visualization. Our infographic surfaces both high-level trends in your email behavior, as well as specific moments and memories with your contacts, and uses them to tell a story. It starts with your first email, ends with your last, and uncovers the highlights in between. Delorean Mail delivers meaning, perspective, and fun, taking you beyond the tour of email by surfacing friendships and forgotten memories.
But before we go any further, let us introduce ourselves. We are MAAST, the Team MAAST, and I am Monica. I have had my Gmail account since August 2004, and I have 59,362 emails in my archive.
Hi, I'm Ariel. I've had my Gmail account since January 2006. I have 49,407 emails in my archive.
And I am Seba. I've been in Gmail since November 2006, and I've had 28,915 emails in my Gmail archive. So let me introduce our fourth team member who can't be here because he's traveling.
Hi, I'm Travis.
So now that you already know us, let me tell you the story about the Delorean Mail. Everything started with a bottle of red and a pack of sticky notes on October 21st the last year, and when this picture was taken. We drank the wine and we decided the things that we wanted to solve during this project. We wanted three things. We wanted to explore the design thinking process. We wanted to have a final and working product at the end of the semester, and we wanted to have fun at the end. We have all of that. But in the beginning, we didn't know that we are building the Delorean Mail. So this is how we got there. We traveled through this really messy processes. At the beginning, we defined the problem. We did a lot of research and analysis to see if what we are trying to solve was already there. And then we get a lot of ideation, a lot of ideas to get to a final selection. That's how the Delorean Mail was selected. So we did our research because we wanted to learn from people what they really needed. So we started with interviews and observation. And during the winter break, we did 8 interviews, which allow us to narrow down our research focus. After that, we did more interviews. We did 12 more interviews. And from that people, we learned a lot.
We learned a lot. We had tons of data to go through, and it actually took us 3 full-day work sessions to plow through that information. We used lots of different design tools. The first of which was the empathy map, which is what you see up here. And the empathy map maps what people say, what they think, what they feel, and what they do, so that we could try to find some generalizations and some trends in the data. We then took those observations on those sticky notes and we put them into an affinity diagram, which last team talked about. And that just groups the observations by similarity, so we could find some of the salient groupings. Then based on those resulting groupings, we took those and we mind mapped them, which is kind of like a web brainstorming session that put all these things into a web that then we could find hierarchies, basically. You could find the relationships between the groupings and the hierarchies, what is really granular and what's really high level. So we did all of this, and we used hundreds and hundreds of sticky notes, and probably we went over into the 1,000 range, but it was really, really hard work. And so at the end of the day, we needed to blow off some steam. So this is the steam blowing up. One of our goals was to have fun, and we just wanted to share some fun. Check, done. one of the goals, and especially Seba, I think, needed to blow off. It's okay. Steam blown off, we were ready to focus back in. So what we did with all these findings, we really felt that we knew the material at this point. And we were able to identify what our users' needs were. And we had 22 user needs, but we only focused in on 3 for the product that we're going to show you today for Delorean Mail. And those needs are that users need to have perspective on their lives and have a testament to their accomplishments. So people need to kind of see the big picture, and they want something to point to say, hey, look, this is what I've done in my life. This is me. The second is that people want a sense of progress or moving forward. So they want to make sure that they're going someplace. It doesn't have to be towards a particular goal. The goal can change, and that's fine as long as they feel like they're moving forward. Nobody wants to be in a rut. And the third is that people want to reflect on high-level priorities. Everybody every day thinks about the low-level priorities. Am I going to go to the picnic? Am I going to go to yoga class? Weigh those options. But it's hard to rise above that and kind of look at your life in aggregate and think about what your high-level priorities are overall. So then based on those user needs, we created lots and lots of ideas. We actually created 60 ideas. And each of the 4 of us came up with 15 different ideas, and that's what you're seeing here, is our ideas that we then shared together. And after sharing them, we grouped the ideas into likenesses. We combined some of the features. Some of them could have been features of other ones. We made storyboards. We prototyped these ideas. We iterated on these ideas. And then finally we voted. And from these 60 concepts, we had 1. So this is the one that we chose, and this is Delorean Mail in its infancy, still a baby. But the actual concept was to create visual stories about your email relationships using data from your email archive. So that's Delorean Mail, and yay, finally, we had 1 idea. It was really exciting. But at that point, we only had 5 short weeks left to actually implement it. So we had to really hustle into implementation to get our other goal that Seba mentioned done and actually build something. So he's going to tell you a little bit about that.
So we had this idea of a visual story of your email relationships, but how we did it, and this is how the implementation phase started. We iterated again. This was an iterative process. So this is some iterations of our home page. And here I'm just showing you the last design, because believe me, we did tons of different designs. And we decided based on user feedback and user interface design. And we converged into the final design of Delorean Mail that you can see in DeloreanMail.com. We also wanted to achieve a really good user experience. At the beginning we were working with a lot of information. We needed a lot of processing power. We are working with your complete inbox. So we decided to speed up the process, and we are now using only your subject lines of your emails. And you can see while it's loading how that information is passing. So depending on the amount of emails that you have in your inbox, you will take up to 20 minutes to load all the information. We also did iterate in the top contacts page and the visual story itself, so you can see how it evolves. Here we use different techniques to get into the meaningful facts that tells you a story about your email information. We use data visualization techniques, and also we wanted to show you really meaningful facts here. But in order to get this product working, we needed to use a lot of technologies.
But before I go into the technologies, Andrew, where are you? Could you wave? Andrew, this is our 5th team member, very official 5th team member that joined our team in the implementation phase. He is a 3rd-year graduating law student and miraculously had some time on his hands just to contribute it to our project in his last semester here. And without his wicked back-end coding skills, we wouldn't have the awesome product that we have today. So thank you, Andrew. And then with that, I'm going to move on to the technologies, which can actually be kind of boring for some people, so I wrote a poem about the technology so that I could like entertain people who don't care about technology, hopefully. So here it goes. So some of you aren't technical and some just don't care, so I decided to give this slide a little flair. For Delorean Mail, as you already know, we chose to use Gmail as the data to show. And to access that data and get it to flow, we use this cool API called context.io. For implementation on the back end, we used Python and Jinja and Goog's App Engine. Now on the front end, the stuff you can see, we used Fireworks, Isotope, and the challenging D3. To get a head start on our fun little app, we used the templates provided by Twitter Bootstrap. And for revision control, we chose to use Git. Some of us had used it, so it was a good fit. Now that I'm done with my silly technical story, it's time to show you Delorean Mail in all of its glory. Demo time.
Great. So now that you guys have seen what it took to get the product, we want to take this opportunity to show you the product itself. And so this is the homepage, the login and sign up screen. As Seba mentioned before, it takes about 20 minutes to load all of your email subject headings and to analyze them. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in. My data's already in here, but I'm not logged in. So 1 second. We knew. Yeah.
Let's start on the thing.
Hey! That is Monica's good thinking and planning. These are my top contacts. These are the 10 people that I've emailed the most. And we chose to display the top 10 people that you email rather than the people who email you or some combination of that, because the people who email you most might only be considered people by the Supreme Court. People like Groupon and Facebook. I know I don't want showing up in my top contacts. Another thing I want to point out in this page is from our user testing, we found that some people had sort of a negative experience when they came to this page because some of their top contacts were people that they were no longer in contact with, ex-boyfriends and girlfriends primarily. And so in future iterations of this product, we plan to have an edit mode so you could lower people, delete them, and then next time you come to the application, somebody else's picture or placeholder picture will be there. Lastly, I want to talk a little bit about privacy. Email is certainly sensitive information. We are storing your email subject lines and some of the bodies of your emails and some pictures on our server. We would have loved to think more about those privacy implications. We really wanted to build something and get it up and running, and so we weren't able to spend as much time on that as we would have liked, and I'm sure our advisor Deirdre might have liked. Now I want to go ahead and click on my top contact, Jenny, who is actually my best friend, so that worked out really well, and show you an example of our infographic. Fantastic. So this is Jenny and my email story, and it began in June 2006, and you can see some of the first pictures we sent you. Scrolling down, you can see a graph of how many emails we've sent each other over time. Up here are the emails I sent her. Down here are the emails she sent me. And I know from our relationship that, for example, here is a spike because we were planning a trip to Morocco together. And here's another spike because she was living in San Francisco that summer. And throughout this infographic, harkening back to our user needs, we really wanted to make sure we were striving a balance between giving users a perspective on kind of the overall trends in their life, for example, how many emails you're emailing over time, but also eliciting specific memories. So, for example, the very first email or some of these pictures spark memories for me. Going down this email, you can see the people that we email most when we email each other. And then again, in terms of getting perspective and seeing how things have changed over time, another one of our user needs, you you can see the typical words that have been in your subject lines over time. So this year we apparently had a lot of thoughts. 2008 we were really interested in what we were doing tonight and Saturday. This is a graph of the times of day we sent emails. Over on the right-hand side, the orange is our daytime-ish email sending. On the left is our nighttime-ish email sending. We are apparently pretty good sleepers. We're not too many late-night emails, which is nice. Again, some higher-level statistics. And then down here is emails where we seem particularly excited about something. For example, something was awesome, we loved something, or we had a lot of exclamation points. To cap off this story, we have the recent pictures we sent each other, and then our most recent email, which was about this project. And I just want to show you, I don't know if this will work, but we do have an edit function. And it lets you delete specific modules of content. If, for example, something came up that was embarrassing and you didn't want to have up there or to share. And then you can share the infographic with your friends at the bottom. So now that you've seen our product, we really hope that some of you might like to try it. We will have a couple codes if you guys would like to take a look. We'll be out there after the presentation, so you can just come see us and grab one. Just so you know, it costs us a couple of dollars every time someone signs up, just for API and server costs. So it would be really great if you could donate a couple dollars, just grad students. And to cap it off, we just wanted to share some reactions of people who've already used the product. Any questions?
in the story how you had the high-level overview about where there were spikes and things like that. So is it interactive that you can click into that and do a deeper dive and get extra?
Yeah, that's actually a great question, and I should have covered it. So a bunch of these subject lines are all links. So if you click on them, you can go directly into your inbox and see, if it's a string, the other things in that string, or our email surrounding it to get more context.
And also some of the
spikes in the
Yeah,
graph
the
are
spikes
not
are
interactive.
not
We definitely would have loved to have had like hover over capability and shown the topics that you were talking about at the time, but we didn't get that.
Yeah, but one of the decisions that we made of the design that we wanted this to be printed, so that's why we didn't add so much interaction on it. So we have the same thing that you see on the screen into it.
So I was wondering about, since you had a constraint of analyzing only the subject headers, did you consider maybe doing a smaller subset and analyzing the full body of emails to see how that might tell a different story? Or do you have any thoughts about how that might change the results if you could get the full body?
There's actually a visualization called Email that was done by MIT researchers back in 2006, and they did grab the entire body, actually for the entire corpus, but it told a much richer story, and they had a lot more granularity, and it was really people delving down into the details, and I think this was, what we really wanted to get was the big picture overall, and we felt like one person wouldn't necessarily be enough, so we wanted to have 10 or a few more than one. We didn't actually build anything with pulling all of it. Well, we did pull all the emails and it took 30 hours, so even just testing that kind of stuff took a long time. But we have seen some of the research that was done, and it was interesting, but it was a little bit different. We kept this at a higher level, a little bit more consumer and easy to digest. We wanted it to be fun and easy to use.
Great job, guys. Really loved the process and your honesty in showing the initial confusion that led to a single idea that you guys could really commit to, so that was really great. I'm curious where you guys see this growing as a product. Whether or not you decide to continue, like, where could this live?
We did a bunch of thinking about sort of how to get people to interact with this more than just once, right? Like, it's really exciting to upload your emails once, but it doesn't really change that often. So we did some thinking about sort of having what Monica calls e-versaries, which would basically be for your top contacts, you could send an email on the anniversary of the first date that you sent your first email to them and sort of remind them that, like, oh, like, you should check out this infographic. It's been this many years since you first emailed this person. And we also think just, you know, we've all run our email and shared it with all of our friends, and a lot of them have signed up, so I think that, you know, sort of builds momentum as well.
I think in the middle of you working on this project, Facebook launched the new version of Timeline. So how did that impact the development of this?
So it honestly really didn't. We were pretty far along in the process before, before we even saw that. I think it's a really interesting trend. I mean, so Facebook is doing it. I know Twitter just recently launched sort of a similar thing where isn't Twitter or emailed you? Like, there's a bunch of sort of these social media things that are sort of launching these things where they give you a recap. So obviously it's serving some sort of need.
The difference here is that the email archive seemed to be really rich and untapped, and Facebook is really about social, but we think that there is a lot of social information in the email archive, even though people don't really necessarily think of it that way. So we wanted to try to uncover that and to tap that source.
I was curious if you had any ideas that you weren't able to get to here. Just looking at the story, and you've got a nice visualization, but as you said, you know, it's sort of most powerful the first time you do it, and maybe most interesting to the person whose inbox this is. I can see maybe why someone might want to share, but you know, what other, maybe somewhat related to the question about how might you productize this, or where might you take this in other directions, what ideas did you not have time to explore?
Well, one of the ideas was to have multiple templates. This is just one, and it kind of captures a general story. But to have something related to birthdays or a romantic theme or something, just different focuses, was one of the ideas that we thought we could do, but it just wasn't very implementable. So another idea would be to have more modules that you can just put in. So to have, these are really modularized pieces, and maybe even open it up and have people create those modules and throw them in there if we were able to source that.
I think another idea that we had is more having you be able to annotate it, so you can sort of add your own information in there and sort of make it, right? So I sort of, when I was explaining my infographic to Jenny, I sort of said, like, oh, these peaks mean this. I think having users be able to create their own or make it funny in some sort of way would be a really great addition.
And if you see the poster downstairs, you can see some annotations of that story that we had.
We're out of time. But thank you guys. Thank you very much.